Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Today's date is Sunday, May 28, 2023. We've got stadium news first. Let's go through that. I want to go through a couple of things. First, an interesting topic we are going to discuss is why some people may vote no, perhaps actually make it the city money. Let's go over the other reasons first. There is a tax increase. No matter how the owners put it, there still is a tax increase. Some people just think sports are not important enough to build a new stadium. A lot of people, this may include the fourth line. Some people think that the owner should pay for all of it. Well, let me put it like this. LA is a different place. Plus, he's a different owner than John Sherman. He has a lot of money, top 400 in the world. Also, you wanted a local guy at a baseball team. He may not have the money to do that to pay for a stadium. The other one is he might die before actually building a new stadium. Now let's go on to topics of, does sports really make enough money to make money for the economy? I don't know the answer for that. But both sides, no matter what, do have a bottom line of money. I want the Royals and Chiefs to stay here no matter what, so I know which side I'll vote on, and that's for the new stadiums. This is from the marketplace. Who's against new stadiums? Or does it make an economic impact? And that's the question. There are not a lot of things that I disagree about, but economic impact in sports is one of them. There's a lot of economists that disagree about the economy part of stadiums. If every team in Chicago were to study the suddenly disappearance, Chicago's economy would be a fraction of 1%. That leads to say that a baseball team about the same impact on a community as a mid-sized department store. That's for 80 home games, and a NFL team that will only play 8 regular season games. Still, Paul loved building sports stadiums. It provides stand on your feet and say what we want. The teams here have jobs for revenue. Our young people, Holmes said, the Los Angeles Rams Stadium here in Inglewood, one of the protest neighborhoods in LA, project football stadiums would generate more than $800 million worth of economic activity. A good rule of thumb is used to take the stadium's boosters are telling you and move that 1 decimal point to the left, and that usually gives a good estimate of what you're going to get. Sporting events can cause significant crowd congestion that can cause people to stop going to the other events. He says a good rule of thumb economics used to take what stadium boosters are telling you and moving the decimal left, and usually a good estimate what you're going to get, Matthew says. Economics says the biggest reason for sports teams don't have much of an impact, they don't tend to spur the new sporting world. Most people have entertainment budgets, so the dollars are spending when they would have spent elsewhere. Maybe even a restaurant, a small business, whereas most would have stayed in the community. Plus, Matheson says a draw of people in a neighborhood can actually repel them. Counter argument for more on 810.
We reached out to both mayors of North Kansas City and Kansas City, Missouri. Neither one has. Have you hit them again? Hit them again.
Have they graced you with their call?
No. Which is fine. It's part of the way the world works. They only have 3.5 years to go to be equal to Mizzou in returning a call. Am I wrong, Kay?
No.
Okay. Let's make sure
you nailed it.
Mizzou guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That one I can't figure out. But You don't care.
They don't.
You don't care about. You don't care about your fans. You don't care about your fans.
Mayor Lucas has been on with us twice since I've been here, so at least he had. Just in this instance, he has not yet gotten back to me, but he does have a track record of coming on.
A plan that would be effective for both North Kansas City and the Royals to build the stadium in North Kansas City. Do you actually think anyone there really wants that to happen?
That's a really good question because I never thought about it from that angle. But I would say
I
if
heard
they're
it
not,
first, I'd heard North Kansas City brewing for a couple of weeks or maybe a month or so that they were kind of getting in on it. And so when that release came, it's like, oh, okay, here we go. But now that nobody wants to talk about it,
there's some traction here somewhere along the line.
You think
or
so?
Or does it tell you the opposite?
I would think if it could be possible that the Royals are like, hey, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want this
Let's
out
work
there.
on this. Yeah.
Which, to me, seems like you would have checked in with them before you put it out there.
Yep.
I would think you'd want to sell it.
Yes.
And so when
to your tax
we
base.
call and go, hey, let's talk about what you're thinking, we would not get silence. I mean, not even no, we don't think so. We're going to let the letter speak for itself right now. You know, that's it. You know, the Royals, you asked for John Sherman. We're going to let the town halls or whatever they called them.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to that's going to speak for us. And I'm like,
site meetings.
I do think that. So I don't know what the hell's going on with the North Kansas City.
I don't either. But
I
the
tend to
deal
think
is,
it's a publicity stunt.
Originally, it could be. Originally, they were considering everywhere in the metro area, correct? The Royals?
They immediately took Kansas off the board.
Okay, but
John Sherman said not Kansas, and then at one of the town halls, he was asked, "Can you tell us unequivocally that wherever it is, it will be in Kansas City, Missouri?" And he said yes.
He said yes. I remember
so at that point, he had taken North Kansas City and every other part of Kansas City, Missouri, of the metro area, off the board. It wasn't just a no Kansas; it was a no anywhere but Kansas City, Missouri.
And really, downtown East Village is basically their. I mean, what everybody feels is
where they ultimately want to go, and where I will still wager money that they will end up there.
Yeah.
So. Parson and Frank White, after a little Wall Street Journal story runs that, we'll listen to anybody, including Kansas, from Mark Donovan a year and a half ago, and they said, we'll match anything. Okay, it's $75 trillion.
Okay,
you got it.
We'll raise the taxes.
That was the only thing.
We'll get a bond measure.
Yeah, right. That was the only thing that was a worse tactical negotiating move than John Sherman going,
now here's a different subject that for building the stadiums. Here's that article. We'll go over that. And another story. In the NBA, there is a biggest deficit comeback in history, as we thought the Heat were going to get to the NBA Finals. The Celtics grab a game and a put in by Derek White to grab Game 6 and tie it up at 6 after being down 3-0. The greatest rebound and layup of all time, given the circumstance. Heat force a Game 7. Derek White puts it in. You may never hear of his game name again, but it was one of the biggest shots in NBA playoff history. In the NHL, they start trying to become the fourth team to pull a comeback as they are down 3-2, but need to grab Game 6 before they worry about that. Last night's Stars and the win, 4-2. Stars and Golden Knights will go back over that tomorrow. That game begins tomorrow. We may do more schedule releasing for tomorrow's show. Also, Deandre Hopkins gets cut. We'll talk about that more